Here are some big cities without interstates in the United States. There's more than you think, there's a lot of them, but I'm only going to talk about 5 in this video. So first up, let's go to our biggest one, Fresno. As I just said, it's the biggest city in the United States without an interstate. It's actually the 33rd biggest city in the United States. It's pretty big. It's bigger than cities like Kansas City, Atlanta, Miami, or Minneapolis. Big. And to put shame on the United States for not giving any interstates to Fresno, the United States didn't even want to give them a US highway either. Shame on you, Uncle Sam. Next up, we got Bakersfield. It's another Californian city. There's a lot of Californian cities without interstates. Bakersfield is a big one. About 130,000 less people than Fresno, but it still has 400,000 people. It's a lot. 48th biggest in the country. That puts it ahead of cities like New Orleans or Cleveland. Wow. Downtown Bakersfield itself is about 13 miles from an interstate. But the city limits actually do technically touch I-5. The segment is barely even 1,000 feet. That's less than a quarter of a mile. And I made a line to the west of it. There's barely any people, mostly just farms. But Bakersfield still owns it. But I'm not going to count that still in this video. So why are there so many Californian cities? Look, California just got cheated by the interstate system. I could explain a lot more, but that's the simplest way I could put it. If I wanted to, I could only talk about Californian cities. But we're talking about American cities without interstates, not Californian cities without interstates. So let's go outside of California for the next one. So let's go to Texas and let's hit College Station, the home of Texas A&M. Now, that's pretty much the only thing it's known for, but why you might think, is College Station really that big? The answer is yes, it's actually pretty big. Guess Texas A&M gave them 120,000 people. And Bryan's, Texas is right next to it. And combined, they have over 200,000 people with no interstate. Fortunately for them, they're not a good spot for an interstate, but they could still get a spur out. It could probably help. So next up, let's go to one that's closer to home, at least for me. Maybe some of you if you live on the East Coast. That would be Athens, Georgia, home of Georgia University, or UGA. Just won the national championship, by the way, if you haven't been paying attention to football. But Athens has almost 130,000 people, which is actually bigger than College Station by about 7,000. But suburbs is what makes College Station bigger. Athens is a very large city, at least geographically in size. Most of the suburbs are within the city limits itself. There are some areas with suburbs outside the city limits, but that's because they're in different counties. And these suburbs combined have less than 50,000 people, so they don't really matter that much. So yeah, College Station is just better than Athens. At least for this video. I love you, Athens. Don't worry. Last one on our list? Greeley, Colorado. Now, the average American probably doesn't know about the city. You might not even know where it is yourself. It's right here on the South Platte River if you don't know. You might be like, wait, wouldn't I-25 go through this area though? And you'd be right, but it doesn't go through Greeley itself. It kind of bypasses it on the west to hit Fort Collins, slightly bigger city. A lot of these cities without interstates have universities in them. It's kind of a trend. Guess the US just doesn't like universities. Well, Greeley's actually pretty close to I-25, only about 4.5 miles away. But it still doesn't touch it. And that's over 100,000 people without an interstate. That's a lot of people. Come on, Uncle Sam, give Greeley a spur out. It's 48th biggest in the city. 48th biggest in the city. What am I thinking? Now you might, wait. Maybe I'll make a part 2 with more cities. If you viewers like seeing this video, maybe say how much you like it in the comments. That'd be cool. Maybe you should watch this video. I think you like it, probably. You probably will like it, even though it's a bit worse than this video, but you'll still like it, probably. Maybe. And oh, you should also subscribe. Yeah, do that. Please.